Can I ask you a question?
The job I had before was as a psychic.
And in the process of, taking on this film, did you at any point stop to think what happens in the afterlife? I mean, being a part of this project, I'm sure it's something that came to mind for you.
Well, I mean, that's something that I think we all sort of naturally ask ourselves, particularly when I had my son. That became like a kind of on the forefront of my thoughts for a period of time. But I don't necessarily have a fixed point of view as to what happens. I do believe in an afterlife. So I'm not, for that reason, I'm not really afraid of death. I mean, I want a really long life, but I'm not fearful of what comes afterwards. I feel like it's just another chapter of the adventure. So in that way, this film was very, very moving to me, because it also doesn't sort of necessarily say anything conclusive, but it does explore 3 different people's journeys in how they have to face death in very unusual ways. One person having a near-death experience, one person being able to talk to the dead, another person going through a grieving process, and sort of like what they face in that journey. And so it's it was certainly something that although I had thought about those things beforehand, it's just in reading the script and then of course in seeing the film, it just brings back all of those philosophical questions.
And talk about working with Matt Damon. What was the experience like for you?
Matt is great. Matt is really great. He's really just generous and so truthful as an actor, which everybody knows. And he's just a really wonderful, very easygoing person.
And obviously your father is a legend, but talk about working with the other legend, Clint Eastwood, in this film.
Yes. Clint Eastwood is just exceptional. And I think the thing that most struck me is that, he's got so much experience and he's so masterful, and yet he doesn't feel any need to sort of control things or say, oh, I know what's best, do this or that. I mean, he's so curious about what each person is going to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And I find that to be incredibly humble and so respectful and just really admirable. And I couldn't be more inspired by anyone else than I am by Clint Eastwood.
Do the work and you'll go far. What do you think happens when we die?
Your performance was so spot on in this film. You play Marie. Yeah. Talk about your character. How did you prepare to play a role like this? She is a successful, smart TV anchor whose life literally changes after she goes to Indonesia.
Yes, so thank you first. And yes, I wanted to build my character by reading of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and Dr. Moody's books. Who tells about a lot of testimonies of near-death experience, and it was very interesting, by that, because before the film I never thought about that. For me, death is part of life, and I don't care, what happened after we die, when we die. It's like that. But yes, I was very curious, and I jumped in the subject really. Very intensively, because all of these testimonies are very close to each other, so perhaps it couldn't be a coincidence,